Hey, Russell of Hotels going live just for a couple of minutes. Happy Friday to you. Hey, you know what? It's raining cats and dogs here. I'm in LA. You know how they say, um, it never rains in Southern California. They're lying, okay? Because it does. It's raining like crazy. I'm not sure if you can hear, but yeah, it's raining. It's insane. But anyway, we need the rain, so it's not like we don't need it here in LA. So, but we'll take it as it comes. But hey, I'm Russell of Hotels. I come on and do these lives every Monday through Friday. Rain or shine, doesn't matter, right? Here from my home office, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going anywhere today until it stops raining. So, no use of me being on the road because I don't need to be on the road right now. Okay. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. But yeah, so I am a hotel consultant. I do content creating. I do hotel site selection for companies, organizations that need, information on hotels or, contracts through hotels for their meetings, for their retreats, for their sales meetings, whatever type of meetings or events that they're trying to accomplish or do at a hotel. That's what I handle, that kind of stuff. I don't make the decisions, but I, based on their information, based on my clients' information, I gather information about the hotel that I think is best suited for them to have their meeting at or their retreat or whatever. So I do that content creating where I just basically assist. This is creating content, just in case you did not know. It's creating content for me, for Russell of Hotels, but it is creating content nonetheless. So I do things like this. I do postings for hotels, promotion, branding for the most part. That branding is just basically getting your name out there and being consistent. But it's about when should you do it, how should you do it, how often should you do it. A lot of times we post things and we expect business from it, right? Well, that doesn't always happen like that, right? It more likely does not happen like that. So it's about getting your brand out there first, letting people know what you stand for before you start. Hey, I got a special here. Hey, I'm here. Hey, buy this, buy that. People don't do it like that, right? People don't just because you post something, people are gonna automatically go and buy it, right? No, they want to know about you. They want to know the story. What makes you tick? Where'd you come from? What makes you a hospitality personality? That's me. What makes me a hospitality personality? I come with a wealth of experience, not just, not just here saying, hey, I'm Russell of Hotels and I go live every day. Well, I come with a wealth of experience in hotels. Over 25 years, 14 different hotels, over 14 different hotels, from housekeeping to front office to restaurant to being an AGM, assistant general manager, to being a sales manager, to being a director of sales and marketing, to being a general manager. That's I guess that's in a hotel world, that's the ultimate, right? That's where you want to get. That's the pinnacle, right? I've been there, but I say, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like the view from this mountaintop. So you know what? I want to go back to what I love. That's sales and marketing, or that's marketing and sales. That's branding. That's promotion. That's getting people to know who your brand is, what your brand stands for, and how you can help them. So there you go. So I see Dylan. Dylan, are you able to discuss the largest clients you've had in the past? The largest clients? I mean, I'm not gonna name names or companies, but yeah, I mean the largest I've done is about 600 rooms on peak. So 600 rooms on peak. So on a peak night, 600 rooms, right? So I think the total room night was, and you take all your rooms times, you multiply it by the number of days, and that will tell you what your room nights are. And I want to say it was between 15, 1700 room nights, something like that. I can't remember. It, my memory escapes me. It's been a while. But yeah, so that's what, in fact, that's how a lot of us are paid, meaning people that do hotel site selection or meeting planning. They're paid on the number of room nights or the total room revenue, right? You get a percentage of the total room revenue. So, and you don't get anything from the food and beverage. So, even if I plan a bunch of food and beverage functions at the hotel for this particular group, I'm not compensated on that. I'm only compensated on the room revenue, the total room revenue. Okay, so that's a little bit of how I get paid. But then the client pays me as well, right? So, in fact, this is something new, right? I'm just starting this as of this year that I'm asking the client to, kick in a little bit, right? So it's like basically a consulting fee, things like that, because there's a lot of knowledge that they need from us, people like myself, and it doesn't take any more time to do 10 rooms or 600 rooms, right? It's the same amount of time that you got to deal with, right? So it's the same RFPs you got to put in. You send it to the same amount of hotels. You communicate with the same amount of hotels. So there's a lot more legwork than you would really know, unless you were in it every day, right? So, but you got to remember that when you're giving of your knowledge, that should equate into some dollar amount somewhere, right? That's called consulting fee, right? So that's when those conversations turn into consulting fees. You know what I mean? So it can be a conversation, but at a certain point, you know what? I'm giving away too much information. I mean, you're asking me for my knowledge, right? Or what do I think about this? What do I think about that? Well, it's based on my experience, right? And I didn't go through, you know, 25, 25 years and 14 different hotels just for kicks and giggles. I mean, I didn't know I was gathering all this information and all this experience, but I did. So, and somebody wants it, somebody needs it. It's a lot of information that people need. So, you have to pass that along to the client. You have to pass your knowledge along to people that want to tap into that knowledge. So Dylan says, are you even okay? 600 rooms is such a massive project. Were you nervous closing an invoice that no, I was excited, not nervous. But I guess the nervous part comes, I want to make sure that these, because I work for the client, right? So the client dictates to what I do, right? So if they need 600 rooms, well, it's based on the client. The client has to sign that contract. My name or my company name has to be in that contract in order for the hotels to pay me that commission, right? But the onus or the responsibility is on the client to make sure that if you needed, 1,500 room nights, you need to get at least 1,500 room nights, because there's if you don't meet it, the difference between what was blocked and what was actually picked up, if there's a difference, that's called an attrition. Okay, so if you don't pick up 80% of, well, a lot of times it's 80% attrition. So, or 20% attrition, which means you pay 80% attrition, which means you pay 20% if they don't pick up, right? So the company could be on the hook for the attrition, which, like I said, is the difference between what was booked and what was picked up or what was paid for, right? So you want to make sure that you don't get into that attrition, or you want to make sure you exceed whatever they're looking for. Then that way you're not on the hook for anything. So yeah, I mean, those conversations are hard when you have to go back to the client and say, hey, you know what? You didn't make your attrition, so you got to pay, X amount of thousands of dollars. And that conversation comes from me, because I know up front, and the client will know up front too, because I'm keeping them abreast of what's going on as far as, what's being booked or what has been booked. Because a lot of times with this particular group, it was it was a rooming list. It went through a housing bureau, which means, the housing bureau would give me the list of who made the reservations or how many reservations were made and how many rooms we were lacking. So, it wasn't on me. It was on them to give me that information. I give that information to the client. Client sees it. Okay. Well, we need to, I need to, promote this a little more, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it only becomes sticky when you have attrition, or if a client wants to cancel. Okay, if they want to cancel, then I have to go back to the hotel and say, hey, they're canceling. And a lot of times there's a cancellation fee, right? And it's all highlighted in the contract before the client signs it. We go through the contract and just basically said, hey, if this happens, then this is what's going to occur. Okay, this is what you're responsible for. So no, I wasn't nervous, but but Dylan, enforcing attrition from my role can get very sensitive with companies. Yeah, attrition can be, it's a sticky thing. But like I said, my job is to try to get that attrition down decrease it as much as possible. But 80% is probably where they look for. But I've got it down like 70, 60%. It depends on the group though. It all depends on history of the group. Where have they been before? Because a lot of times, well, most hotels, especially like convention size hotels, they will ask for history on groups, and they should. They want to know where they met before, right? Previous to them coming to your destination or to that hotel. So we, give them information like, oh, well, okay, and you can see that, oh, okay, they exceeded their group block, and that's what you want. And based on that, that's when the hotel basically said, okay, we will deal with you. And okay, based on that, we can reduce your attrition because we know for the last 3 meetings that you've had at different hotels in different destinations, you have surpass your booking goal, you know what I mean, or your room block. So there you go. So but yeah, but it can be sticky. It can be a sticky situation. But yeah, but good questions, Dylan. Thank you so much for asking those questions. Dylan always comes through with some questions. But yeah, so being a hotel site selection person, yeah, it comes with a lot of stuff. It's a big responsibility, of course, but like I said, I work for the client. So whatever the client wants, that's what I give the client, right? So, and every step of the way, I make sure I'm communicating with the client, right? So any correspondence I get from the hotel, I'm CCing my client on that correspondent as well, because you never want the client not to know what you know when it comes to dealing with the hotel. Because like I said, I'm the third party. I'm the middle person between the hotel and the client, right? So it just makes things a lot more streamlined, makes it easy. Client doesn't think I'm hiding anything. Everybody's upfront, and I make sure that the hotel say, hey, make sure you copy my client on there as well. Because he or she is interested in knowing what we're talking about, right? So I don't hide commissions back. I mean, like saying, oh, I don't tell them that it's not going to be in the contract, because if in order for me to get a commission from the from the hotel, that term or that addendum has to be in that contract, right? It has to be, whatever percentage commission will be paid to Russell of Hotels at the end or at the conclusion of the meeting or whatever, within 30 days or whatever the heck the wording is in there. But it has to be in there in order for them to sign. So I can't hide that, and you shouldn't hide it. Even if it wasn't, I'm letting them know this is how I get paid, right? So there should be no mystery to my client as to how I am compensated from the hotel, or if I'm compensated from the hotel, or if I need to be compensated from them, the company. So yeah. So I mean, those are things that we deal with. Hey, but hey, it's part of what we do as hotel site selection people. Some people call it meeting planning. Some people actually work for like my clients are the meeting planners they work for the company. So they would be my client, right? So the meeting planner for the company would be my client, right? So whatever he or she needs, that's what I do. Like, hey, I need you to source this particular destination, downtown properties. Okay. I come up with the RFP based on their specification for this meeting. And a lot of times they have things already written up. They just email it to me and I say, oh, okay, you need this, you need that. These are the dates. Make sure they're flexible on dates, right? Because sometimes being flexible on dates can be the difference between it can be the difference between saving a lot of money, right? Because if this group wants to go at a time where that hotel is already busy or the destination's already busy in that particular area, that means the prices are going to go up. But maybe another week, if they can move it to another week, it can mean a significant savings for the or for the company as well, right? Because a lot of hotels we call them need dates, right? They have certain dates that they don't have anything going on, no groups, nothing. It's just basically almost empty. You know what I mean? Not no. They have transient business, but they don't have group business. And a lot of hotels want group business because it affects the entire hotel. That means people are going to get hours. Your banquet staff, your housekeeping staff, front office, everybody, AV, everybody's going to get, hours, because groups create hours for employees of hotels. But if you didn't rely on the groups, if you're a big box hotel, that like a convention style hotel, and you didn't have any groups, that means a lot of people wouldn't be working. Your housekeeping staff would probably be cut back. Your food and beverage staff, like banquets and things like that, they would be cut back as well. Kitchen, all the cooks and the sous chef and the head chef and the and dishwashers and all those kind of things. Those hours would be cut back if you didn't have groups. So it affects a lot more than people think. You know what I mean? People on the outside looking in, you don't really know the intricate details or the ins and outs and all that kind of stuff, or of how hotels work and how group business actually is, good for especially if it's a convention style hotel. Because there's a lot of big box hotels now that, are starting to get back to doing meetings because, of course, we're coming out of COVID. It's been a couple of years, but a lot of those big meetings have not come back yet. So there you go. So just a little information about that. But like I said, that's one of the things that I do. And I want to thank Dylan again for that. Did you guys know? I want to thank, well, you didn't know, but I'm about to tell you. I want to thank the International Hospitality Institute for recognizing me as one of the top 50 social media influencers in hospitality. It's always great to get acknowledged or recognized and things like that. So I don't take that stuff lightly. I do appreciate that. But yeah, so thank you to the International Hospitality Institute for that recognition, and then congratulate the other 49 people that were on that list as well. So and that was for 2023. So do appreciate that. Always good to see it. I'm gonna continue to do what I do. I mean, those things are great, but my job is to get the word out about what's going on in the industry, different hotels that I go to, my office of the day. I mean, all those kind of things. That's I that is my job, to make sure that brands are being recognized, right? Especially, like I said, coming out of a situation where people didn't, people have forgotten about these hotels, or that hotel, or is that hotel still there, or I haven't heard from anyone from that hotel, that kind of thing. So my job is to make sure that people see that hotels are still there, and these are options for you if you travel, if you have a meeting and things like that. So my job is to make sure me, what I do, and how I can help. That's it. So, and the best way for me to do that is how? Via social media. Okay. So that's what I do. And it's all about me trying to stay relevant, let people know what I do. Right. And I do the same things for different brands, for hotels, for tourism boards, for anything in hospitality. That's what I do. Right. Because you want to know who you are. You want people to know who you are, what you do, and how you can help. Right. Dylan, this is a general manager at the Fairfield Inn by Marriott in Eugene, Oregon. Okay, he has a hotel. Okay, that's how he can help you, right? If you go into Eugene, Oregon, well, his hotel can be a resource for you. You can go there and stay the night there, right? And you know him. He's Dylan, right? He's the general manager, right? So that's who he is. What he does, he's Dylan. What does he do? He's a general manager for a hotel called the Fairfield Inn by Marriott in Eugene, Oregon. And how can he help you? He has hotel rooms for you, or small meeting space. There you go. And it's located near University of Oregon. Boom. There you go. So if you're in that area, you need some assistance, there you go. And guess what else he'll offer? That Russell of Hotels rate. Boom. There you go. So, okay, he said something else. Let's see. What else? Groups can be a real blessing. They tend to take up less parking. They tend to allow us to make keys, check in advance, and we can ask to prepare as much as possible to make those swift. Yeah. So a lot of times groups will come in, well, hopefully they come in together, just depending on the group, right? If it's like a tour and travel group, there's different groups. Okay, so it could be corporate groups, there's association, there's tour and travel, there's incentive groups, there's government people, there's corporate. I mean, there's sports teams. some of them travel together. Like sports teams travel together for the most part. 99% of the people with the sports team will be coming together, right? So it's easy to pre-key those rooms. Because when you go to check in, you know how, just say you're an individual person. Let's just say there's 10 people checking in and they're all individual, right? Well, that front office clerk or front desk clerk or attendant is going to make separate keys for each one of those people because they're not all together, right? So you got to individually check them in, individually make take their payment, individually make a key for them, and individually give you the key, right? And explain all this stuff to them. Well, with a group, the hotel knows they're coming in. That's not a surprise that all of a sudden, oh, this group just showed in out of nowhere and we have no records of it. No, that doesn't happen. That normally goes through your sales team, sales department, and the sales department disseminates that information to the entire hotel team. So you know that there's a group coming in, right? So specifically the front desk, because they're the ones that have to check them in. So they pre-check those rooms in, they pre-assign those rooms, and then they pre-key those rooms, meaning the key is already been the key has already been programmed and all that stuff with the room number and all that stuff. And more likely the key packets are already in there. Everything is put into a pack and you give it to the group coordinator. Let's just say the group coordinator. So they give the key packet, say there's 50 rooms. They give 50 keys to the group coordinator. Okay, the group coordinator knows who's to be in the room because there's a rooming list, right? So you give those, okay, Russell here, Russell and Charles and Dylan, okay, here's your room. Okay, boom, 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 boom. And then that person gives those keys and then they go off to the rooms, right? But that's one time. So you got 100 people, 50 rooms, 2 people in a room, right? And they just automatically just give you this, packet of keys and that's it, right? Because they already paid for it. They've already been checked in. The keys already been programmed. All that stuff is taken care of. So the groups are easy to deal with. And like I said, they come in a bus, so it's not taking up a lot of your parking spaces in your parking lot, right? It's just one bus. You may have bus parking in there in that hotel or whatever, or outside of the hotel. And it's easy. So groups are normally easy if it's like a sports team or, like I said, groups that are coming in at the same time. Sometimes where it can be issues is when they don't come in at the same time, right? So when I travel, I go to some of these events that they invite, like meeting planners or hotel site selection to come in. And yeah, they block it as a group, but everybody's coming in individually. So they don't know exactly when I'm coming in, right? So, but then they're taking individual payments, right? So that's different, right? So individuals will have to pay on their own. Groups, for the most part, unless it's a family reunion, most family reunions do not pay for all their rooms, right? Most family reunions, you're on your own, right? You have to pay individually. So, I mean, there's different groups. They do different things, whatever. I can be here all day talking about groups because, as you can tell, I know what the heck I'm talking about, and I'm passionate about that stuff. I gotta that I know about it. But anyway, but no, thank you, Dylan, for asking those questions. We do appreciate them. So yeah, so I just mentioned, like I said, I mentioned a couple things that I do. So there you go. So these lives don't have to be long. I try to keep them. Well, it's already been over 20 minutes. It's funny how you get to talking, and next thing you know, 20 minutes has lapsed, and you're like, dang, I didn't realize I was talking that much. But hey, I enjoy it because I enjoy talking about the industry. I enjoy talking about what I do. I enjoy letting you know who I am and what I do and how I can assist you. That's what it's all about, right? So, but feel free to, if this is your first time here, please subscribe to my channel. You can find me on every social media platform. I have a show called On Air with Russell of Hotels that comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock PST, which means I'm in California, so it comes on 1 o'clock California time. That would be 4 o'clock on the East Coast if you tuned in from the East Coast. But I talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of hospitality, right? Of hotels specifically. And I throw in some non-meat eats in there too, because I don't eat meat. I have a vegan diet, and I talk about that stuff as well, just kind of briefly. But I will talk about food places that I've eaten that are different, just to kind of let people know that Yeah, just because you don't eat meat doesn't mean you know there's no restaurants for you, or you're gonna starve and you're gonna be skinny and everything. Do I look skinny to you? No, I eat pretty well. So there you go. But yeah, so that's like I said, it's live on YouTube, live on LinkedIn, and the replays on those same platforms as well as Facebook and Twitter. But it'd be live on Tuesdays, 1 o'clock here on LinkedIn and YouTube. Okay, so check that out. On air with Russell of Hotels. Dylan has one more thing to say. Congratulations. Of course, someone wants to call me. I've been getting these 424. Every time I see a 424 area code, I know it's like spam or some potential spam or spam. I mean, no one calls. Who's at 424? I don't even know anyone at 424 area code, but I get these day in and day out. And they change, like it's telling me that 424 is in Inglewood, but it'll come 424, but it'll be different cities too. So they're trying to pull a fast one on me. But yeah, I'm not falling for it. So, okay. So Dylan says, congratulations for the IHI top social media influencer. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Like I said, it's always good to be recognized. So yeah, so there you go. But we keep it moving, right? We keep it moving. Anyway, I do these lives every Monday through Friday. I do one here on YouTube and I do one on Instagram. I haven't done the one on Instagram yet, so I'll probably do that in the next couple minutes as soon as I get after this live. So you guys have a great day. Any questions at all, you can always feel free to send me a message. You can email me. You can go to my website, russellofhotels.com. It has my phone number. You can call me if you had questions that are that serious, right? You can call me, or my email's on there as well. You can always DM me or whatever social media platform, because I'm on every social media platform at Russell of Hotels or Russell Edmond. That is my last name. So anyway, that's it. So make sure you subscribe to this channel here on YouTube, and I'll see you guys again soon, because I do these every single Monday through Friday between the hours of 9 and noon. Peace. Oh, have a good weekend. And if you're in LA, stay in the house because it's raining and we don't want anyone getting any accidents that you don't need to get into. Peace.